Welcome to Talking Football on 1252 Sports Entertainment. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talking Football Week 14. We are excited to be here again each and every single week at 9 a.m. on the 1252 Sports Network here on the YouTube channel. We are really excited for this week. There's a bunch of good games going on. We're going to recap next week. But let me welcome everybody back here. Everybody knows my fat, ugly head. I'm Fat Mike. And with me, as always, is Angelo Ace Camacho and Tyler DeMouse Fantasy. So there we go, guys. We are back. How's everybody's week going so far?
What's up, boys? How we doing today?
I'm excited, man. It's football day. It's Sunday. It's Sunday, baby. Sunday.
Yep.
We got
Sunday,
fantasy
bloody Sunday.
playoffs rolling. We got teams that are in the hunt this week, teams that are fighting for a spot in the actual NFL playoffs this week. I'm excited about that. So it should be a fun time, man. It should be a good one. Should be a good show today. So I'm excited.
From now on, I'm going to refer to every Sunday Bears game as Sunday Bloody Sunday because it's just going to be hopefully a slaughter moving forward.
Well, we'll get to the Bears a little bit later. But yeah, dude, Sundays, man. It's my favorite time of the week. I love Sundays. I sit on my couch, I hang out, I don't do too much, eat a bunch of food, kick back, relax with a couple of my buddies, and watch football all day. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing again today. I can't wait to sit down and actually watch some pregame stuff and get on it today, man. I'm excited. Tyler, what's going on with you?
It's playoffs, baby. First week of the fantasy playoffs.
Yeah. How many leagues did you make the playoffs in?
All right, so I have 7 dynasty leagues. I made the playoffs in 6 of those, and every team has a bye. My redraft, I made the playoffs in 2 of them that start this week, and I have possibly another couple next week, but those don't look very good.
Nice. Angelo, did you make the playoffs in any of your leagues?
Fuck no. Well, your league, the one I did with you was so difficult to draft. Like, I was like on the phone 1 minute, and you're like, I'll call you back. Okay. So then you call me back. I didn't get to see a board or nothing. So I was just like, well, I hope this guy's available when it's time for me to pick, or I hope that guy. So that team was dead in the water at the start of the season. My other one, I'd be in the playoffs right now if last week the Chargers could have produced any sort of points for me. But Justin Herbert had 4 points, the lowest he scored all year. The guy was averaging 36 fantasy points a week, and he scores me 4. So unfortunately, I did not make the playoffs in my fantasy leagues.
Blame it all on Justin Herbert, right?
Dude, when I picked him up, I went on like a straight 5-game winning streak, picking his ass up in fantasy football.
It's because you suck.
Yeah.
It's because you suck, Angelo.
All my running backs, man. This was a terrible year for running backs in fantasy football.
It was a bad year for running backs this year. Zeke hasn't lived up to his name. Chris Carson's been off and on, hurt all year. Christian McCaffrey down for pretty much the entire season. Yeah. Saquon Barkley, ACL, MCL, that's bad. Dak Prescott, he's a running back. You know what I mean? That sucked.
Kamara's been a bust since Taysom Hill's taken over.
Right. Kamara's been rough since Taysom Hill. It's been – this guy keeps on dropping his shit. I was laughing. So really quick, guys, before we start talking, Tyler DeMouse has literally dropped his phone.
That's like the 8th fucking time today.
No, because like even before, like when we set up the screen, I saw him drop his phone 2 more times. So I still see you guys at the bottom.
I'm drinking coffee. I almost shot that out of my nose.
I don't know what is going on.
I remove everybody from the screen, and I seriously watch this fucking phone go whoop, whoop, like 3 times. Like, this dude sucks. Like,
show's always off the rails.
It's never happened before.
This show,
happened
we
like
can never have a good show on this show. It's always a fucking shit show. Tyler's always, doing his thing. He's just like,
my internet connection's so glitchy every once in a while, and Mike, you can't talk.
You need a stand or something.
Dude, I don't know why.
You need to get a pop socket.
I just turned on Do Not Disturb mode, too, to stop the fucking notifications, and they just keep on coming.
Tyler, I'm gonna buy you a 1252 pop socket.
Yeah,
Why
don't you just turn your notifications on silent?
I did, and they just keep coming through, and now we're in the middle of this stuff. Fuck.
And now he leaves. He's like, "Fuck it, I'm out of here."
Jesus Christ.
Well, what else do you expect from a Packer fan,
Well, yeah, exactly. They're not the people, right? Oh boy, man. So yeah, week 13.
I can't wait till that shit happens later on when we're interviewing Erik.
Yeah, Erik just sees him drop out like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, this would be great.
So let's get into it here, man. Week 13 was a very, very good week. It was a tough week for football. A lot of good games though last week. We'll start it off with the Sunday game. There was no Thursday game because everything that went on with the COVID stuff with the Steelers and Ravens the week prior. So there was no Thursday night game. So we had the week off there, which was nice. And so the week kicked off last week on the noon games with Saints and Falcons. And the Saints win that game 21-16. The Falcons could not get anything going in that game. It was that bad. It was Matt Ryan struggled a little bit. Julio Jones again had a nice game, but now this week he's off again. He's out this week for the Falcons. It's tough. So yeah, the Saints won that game 21-16. After that, we had the Browns and the Titans play in a very, very good game. It was a lot. It was the score is closer than what everybody thought it was. The Browns literally ran the score up on that team, and like I had told you guys last week, it was going to be Baker Mayfield time, and it finally showed. Baker Mayfield having 4 touchdown passes last week, lighting up that Titans defense.
Is that the best we'll see Baker play all his career? That was a really good game for him.
I don't think so, man. Baker Mayfield
played.
Right.
That's his best game as a pro. I would say that, yes. But at a moment where it was time for him to come out and show that he can do it, he did it against an opponent, against a rival almost. They're not a division rival, but they are fighting and vying for a playoff spot, that Tennessee Titans team. Right. And the Cleveland Browns just were like, I don't fucking think so. You're going to be little brother to me all day. And Baker Mayfield showed up and did his job, and that was awesome. That was a great game. We have the Bears last week and the Lions in Soldier Field here, and the Bears lose in epic fashion. 34-30. We'll talk more on that later. That's just, it is what it is at this point, man. That's I called it. I did call it. I did call the Bears would lose that game. But
okay, real quick, there was no way anybody thought that game was going to end that way going into the fourth quarter.
I knew at halftime when the Lions got the ball back and they marched down the field and scored. I sat there and I said to myself, I was like, this game is nowhere near fucking over.
Yeah, I agree on that. It was definitely nowhere near over. But I did not.
Still up by 10 or whatever it was. Or still
that's what I'm saying.
It was like, this game is nowhere near over.
I can't believe they messed. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, that was fucking. We'll talk about it. I don't want to talk about it, but we're gonna talk about it. We got the Lions beating the Bengals last week, 19-7. We got the Vikings moving forward and beating up on the Jacksonville Jaguars by a field goal, 27-24. We got the Colts beating the Texans 26-20. This game was awesome. I don't know if you guys watched that game, that Colts-Texans game. Deshaun Watson has lost absolutely everybody. Yeah. And somehow, some way, we were talking to Carm about this on Wednesday, Angelo.
Yep.
Somehow, some way, is still having a fucking phenomenal year. I mean, really, he is having a great year. Absolutely nobody around him.
That's what great quarterbacks do, though.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
You know what I mean? Like they're struggling this year for sure, right? Mm-hmm. But the only reason that team is relevant right now is because of Deshaun Watson. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and
listen, they did have a hell of a schedule to start the year,
right?
Oh, their
you know what I mean? They had their first 7 games were against playoff teams from last year and going to be playoff teams this year.
Yeah.
So on Waddle and Sylvie on Friday, they were talking about it. The
guys, Waddle and Sylvie. If you guys are from out of town, or Waddle and Sylvie are guys from over at ESPN Chicago 1000 AM radio. Go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry.
But they were saying that the combined record for all the teams the Texans have lost to this year was like 69-23 or something crazy like that.
Yep.
So they've had a terrible schedule.
And yeah, man. And like I said, that's the difference. Like if Mitch was on that Texans team, you think they'd have the 4 wins they have right now? No way possible. That's what a good quarterback does. Russell Wilson did it with the Seahawks when the Seahawks were, treading water there for a while, and Aaron Rodgers has done it in Green Bay.
I mean, Russell Wilson is still treading water up there.
Right.
Right. He's got some big offensive weapons in Metcalf, Lockett, and Carson, but that defense is boy, that defense is fucking rough. So he's picking up a lot of slack. But you're right. Those great quarterbacks find a way to win the game. They find a way to compete. And that's one thing that the Bears haven't I didn't mean to bring it back on the Bears, but that's one thing about Deshaun Watson is that he's been in games competing. Yeah. There was that game a few weeks ago that he lost by an ass hair. That game the other day, man, I was watching this Colts game and the Houston Texans game, and he seriously gets the ball on his 6-yard line in the fourth quarter, marches downfield just to lose the game on a low snap. He was coming back down to score, man. He really was. He was going to win that fucking game.
Yeah.
With nobody, he's going to win that game. This kid is unbelievable, man. We'll talk more about him later in the show because, unfortunately, that is who we get to see today here in Chicago is Deshaun Watson and Mitchell Trubisky show. It's going to be a rough game, but we will be talking about that a little bit later with Eric once he joins us. So after that, we got the Raiders beating the Jets. And I want to talk about this game here a little bit too. All right, this fucking game, listen, I'm not even mad at the Jets. I'm actually going to give props where props are due. Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, was fired from the Jets, okay? And I don't think he should have been fired. Well, yeah,
listen, he kept that team's chance for Trevor Lawrence, man. What do you mean?
That's exactly my point.
Yeah.
Entirely.
He made it too obvious. Why the hell are you rushing 7 guys and having a QB spot?
Nobody else in the league knows that you are in monster shake to get fucking Trevor Lawrence. Are you kidding me?
Why do you think they're keeping Adam Gase? Strictly for the fact of losing every single game the rest of the year.
God, is he terrible?
I mean, the players are still playing to win, though. I mean, they're in the NFL. They're still looking to win. That was one of the worst play calls I've ever seen in my life.
Adam Gase looks like a guy that peeps in your window at night and masturbates outside your window.
Oh, bro, that's a good analogy, actually.
You gotta get some smelling salts too.
With those big eyes.
He looks like the guy that you would see at that's on the news for fucking flashing people at the mall.
Oh my god, you're right. He does actually.
He does. He's never going to get a job in the NFL again. So that's his next career is flasher, public masturbator. So he's got that going for him, I guess. Good job, Adam Gase. But yeah, I mean, Greg Williams, he that's all he did was secure the Jets, Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he should have been fired. But he's going to be this is another funny stat. Greg Williams also going to be the only coach in history, part of 2 0-16 seasons. One with the Browns and one with the Jets. How awesome is this guy? Give this man a contract. Sign this man up today. This guy is unbelievable.
Greg Williams is just a terrible person.
What?
I mean,
wasn't he the guy that was behind the bounties in New Orleans?
Yes. He was behind Bountygate. He's a terrible person. He deserves all this bad stuff happening to him.
I bet you if you sat down and had a beer with him, you'd like him.
I bet you I'd end up punching him in the head.
Yeah, man. He tried to injure fucking Brett Favre, man.
A lot of people.
I guess that is true.
So do a lot of people. But anyways, yeah, Greg Williams, bad coaching, bad coach. Adam Gase, even worse coach. But, at least Jets fans should be writing that guy thank you letters to get a fucking –
I'd have been pissed if I was a Jets fan. That's the only thing you had to look forward to was losing. Right. And now you got rid of a defensive coordinator that was losing.
Jets fans should seriously write my thank you letters.
I'm thankful for Greg Williams because it kept my Jets 0-16 bet alive.
I'll tell you what, this is terrible. You want to know what else is terrible? The fucking Las Vegas Raiders. They're phonies, man. They're a bad team.
There's a lot of those teams though this year. They're they come out one week and they look like world beaters, and then the next week or 2 weeks later they look
Talking
like
about a team that literally has played their asses off against the Super Bowl champions of last year, splitting 1-1, almost losing to the fucking Jets last week. And if it wasn't for Greg Williams, if it wasn't for Greg Williams calling that call, they would have beaten the best team in football and lost to the worst team in football. And that just goes to show that you're a fucking phony ass team. That team sucks. I'm done with the Oakland Raiders or wherever the hell they're from now. They suck. All right, moving on. The Giants, this fucking team, I swear to you, how do you I don't get it. I don't get it. They beat the Seahawks last week 17-12. I hate the Giants. I hate everything New York. Way to keep that streak alive, guys. I appreciate it. The Rams, go ahead.
You remember last week when we were talking about the New York teams and I threw out that New York parlay? That almost hit if it wasn't for Greg Williams.
Yeah, your lock almost hit again last week too, though.
Oh yeah, 0-4.
0-4 on locks. 0-4.
So here, every time Tyler makes a lock pick, do the exact opposite.
So last week I gave out 4 bets, and my one lock was a Mitch Trubisky interception. That was the only bet that didn't hit that I gave out. The other 3
it was a fumble instead.
I forget what I was calling the lock picks of last week.
The lackluster lock
of the week.
The Loch-ness monster.
All right, so moving on, we got the Rams beating up on the Cardinals 38-28. I still think the Rams are phonies. The Cardinals are terrible. And then we got the Chargers. You know, if they have found a way to win, they have found a way to lose almost a lot of games this year, all right? And they've been in a lot of games this year. Unfortunately, not this game. The Patriots romped them 45-0. I mean,
that was wild.
That's just a beating. Like, they should just called that game at halftime and put that team on life support because that was bad. That was a bad game. The Patriots, like I said, rolling the Chargers in Los Angeles 45-0. We got the Eagles getting smoked by the Green Bay Packers 30-16. Big news coming out of Philadelphia today. Carson Wentz benched. Jalen Hurts starting. See how that pans out today. We'll move on to that here in a little bit.
Do you think
so? Go ahead.
Real quick about that. Do you think that the Eagles might, since they can't really get rid of Wentz, right? Because they just signed him to that big deal. Do you think there's a possibility they're hoping that Jalen Hurts looks so good that they could possibly trade him to get some draft capital?
I don't know. I mean, that team's in such bad shape right now. You're not going to trade something that could be a suitable piece to even put people in the stands and still remain fans of your team.
I mean, I guess, but I feel like keeping Wentz on the bench with all that money is such a
that sucks. I mean, that's a bad contract, and I don't know. But that team sucks though too, man. Their offensive line has played like shit. They have no weapons to get him the ball. And it's bad.
Ty, what were you going to say before?
I saw a report this morning before we went live that the Eagles are planning on starting Jalen Hurts for the rest of the year.
Oh, there you go then. So, I mean, there you go. You've got like what? What's he making? Like $30 million a year, Wentz? $28 million a year.
Yeah, so when he signed his contract extension, he did have the richest contract in NFL history. It's been surpassed now by, I think, Rodgers, Wilson, Mahomes, Watson. But at the time, it was the richest contract in NFL history.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. That's just a bad team there. That team is so in such bad shape. Miles Sanders is good, but even there, it's hard to see how good he is with that O-line. It's almost the same problem as the Bears have here in Chicago. Like, really, it's almost a bad time again. It's just bad. It's a bad team. Moving on, we got the Chiefs beating up on the Broncos 22-16. My big ballsy bet of the week hit, and this was awesome. Yeah, the Washington football team beat the Steelers 23-17. Boom. I told you guys. I told you. We got the Bills raking up on the 49ers 34-24, and we got the Ravens showing who's boss 34-17 to the Cowboys. So crazy week, man. Crazy week. A lot of games that were absolute blowouts, games that were, that you didn't think were going to hit. Games that, games that you thought were going to hit did not hit. Another crazy week in the NFL this year. Week 13 wrap up. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. So on that note, we did do our pickems, Angelo. So what are our pickems records going on here?
All right, so we all had a pretty good week. Mike was 10-5.
Yeah.
And Tyler and I were 11-4. Like, that's a really solid week.
Egg. So what's our overall standings at now?
Right now, you're in last place at 103, 72-1. I'm at 104, 71-1. And Tyler is at 109, 66-1. So
all right.
Still got that 6-game lead on you and 5 on me. So
I'm coming back this week. Let's go through it real quick because we do have Erik coming on here in about 25 minutes or so. I'm really excited about having him on again, talking about the Bears game this week. I just sounded like Boomhauer right there. Sweet Pete. Something's wrong with my tongue today. I just sounded like Boomhauer from fucking King of the Hill. We are having Erik Lambert on again today to talk Bears Texans, so that's going to be fun. Bang my hair, man. So let's move on to week 14 here. We already went and picked our Thursday night game, which I lost. I had the Patriots in that one, trying to go oppo. You guys both had the Rams, and the Rams took care of business against the Patriots. That's another weird game, man. The Cam Newton guy, real quick, is Cam Newton done?
yes, he was done last year.
Ty, Cam Newton done?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Look at the weapons he has to work with on that team. Bill Belichick is bringing in dudes off the street and playing dudes like Gunnar Olszewski.
Here's the thing.
He has no weapon. Well, he's a great special teams player, but I mean, they're missing Rex Burkhead's out for the year. Sony Michel, even though Sony Michel sucks, he's been out most of the year. Julian Edelman's gone. I mean, he has no weapons.
The only reason I say yes is because will he be on that team next year? No.
It's
No.
a possibility.
So I think it's no because this year is going to go down in flames, and I don't think he'll be back on another team after that. So I think he's done. I think he's washed. His career's over.
Yeah, I go back and forth on it, man. They're not using him to throw the ball up there. He's thrown a lot of interceptions this year, barely any touchdowns. He's ran for like 12 touchdowns or some shit like that. He's had a great year on the ground, but he just doesn't have the arm strength anymore, it looks like. Even when he is throwing the ball, it's always at somebody's feet. I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe he can work on mechanics and get back to health and get back to maybe a remnant of what old Cam Newton looked like, but I think he's pretty much done at this point. I'd love to be wrong because when Cam Newton is playing, he is a very exciting player to watch. And when he's playing at the top of his game, he's one of the best to do it.
Well, you got to remember, too, that when the Patriots brought him in, they brought him in late into the process. And
yeah, but it's already late in the season. You should know what the fuck is going on already. It's
week
14.
That's
right.
True.
You know what I mean? It'd be a different
It's
story.
not like it's week 4.
Yeah, it'd be a different story if it was week 3 or week 4. It's week 14.
Well,
you know?
He did have COVID, too, and he came out and said he was dealing with after effects from COVID. So maybe that's
if I was
hampering
playing the way he was
play a
playing,
little
I'd
bit.
say that too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Good point, Angelo. Good point. All right, so let's get the starter going. Let's get it going. We got the Titans at the Jaguars to kick off our noon slate today. Go ahead, Tyler. Who are you taking in this one?
I hate this game.
I got the Titans.
Angelo.
Dude, like the Jags have played pretty okay,
Fucking
but
Mike.
they just can't close out a game.
Mike Glennon, dude.
Yeah, baby, the neck. Mike the neck. I'm gonna take the Titans just because you can't ride with the Jets. I mean the Jags. Sorry.
I'm taking the Titans too. This game should be a blowout. Titans need to bounce back this week, and what a great opponent to do so against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is going to run for like 300 yards today on them.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to eat 2 today. I think he's going to go fucking nuts all over that Jacksonville Jaguar defense. All right, going on, we got the Vikings at the Buccaneers. This is a tricky game. I do like this game. I will be keeping a close eye on this game. Angelo, go ahead and kick us off.
Which game are we on again? Sorry.
Vikings.
You cut out there. All right. This one, oh man, the Bucs just can't seem to like stay consistent. Man, I'm gonna take let's take the Bucs. Tampa Bay.
All right.
Taking Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Tyler, who are you taking?
I got Tampa Bay too. I think this is a get right game for the Tampa Bay offense to pass all over on that Minnesota defense.
For some reason, I don't know why, I'm going to take Minnesota in this game. It's not because you two are both taking Tampa Bay. I think that Minnesota is starting to right that ship up there a little bit. They've been playing some of the best football in the NFL lately. I mean, the games that they've been playing, close games, yes, but you know what matters most, guys, in the NFL are W's. They started off 1-5, and now they're what 7-6, right? Or 6-6,
6-6.
6-6. Okay, yeah, so they started off 1-5, and now they're 6-6. So 5-1 over their last 6. That's pretty damn good. They're playing really good football, and I'm going to ride that trend. I'm going to take the Vikings.
The reason I was kind of in the air is because I think the Vikings know there's a lot riding on this game today. Right. Because if they win, then they kind of move themselves into that, the wild card position. I think they have more to play for.
They would jump Tampa Bay in the standings if they pull out a W today.
Oh yeah, because they'd be the same record. You're right.
It's a big game today for the playoff potential. I'm riding with the Vikings in this game. I think Kirk Cousins. I like that Justin Jefferson kid is something.
He's a stud.
God, is he fucking good? A healthy Adam Thielen is back again this week. Delvin Cook's looking to bounce back too after last week. I'm taking the Vikings in this game, man. I like it. I like the Vikings. All right, going on. We got the Chiefs-Dolphins. Should be a pretty weird game. I'm taking the Chiefs, but the Dolphins' defense has been awesome. But no Myles Gaskin today. He's out again with COVID. He's just I think he is COVID, Myles Gaskin. I think he is COVID. This is like the 4th time he's had it this year. He's just he has no more white blood cells. It's just all COVID.
It's just COVID.
Miami is missing their top 3 running backs today, and Myles Gaskin, Savon Ahmed, and Matt Breida.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, like I said, the Myles Gaskin is COVID. Like, just stay away from him. Like, you got to just kick him off your team. If you want to stop COVID, the Dolphins need to drown Myles Gaskin.
Oh my God.
They just need to drown him.
Does anybody think the Dolphins are going to win? No. Okay, good.
All Chiefs across the board. Next game.
Okay.
What? Go ahead.
No, that's all right. It's all right.
No, go ahead.
Come on, we got to get Erik on.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. We got 15 minutes.
I was just gonna say I don't think Tua is gonna be able to match the offensive output as the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think the Chiefs run away with it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. And I still think they should drown Myles Gaskin. They should with Flippy and have Flippy hold him down by his leg and drown him. So okay. On that note, we got the Broncos at the Panthers. This is going to be a tough game. I don't like this game at all. The Carolina Panthers have not looked good in the last 4 or 5 weeks. The Denver Broncos have not looked good since they last won the Super Bowl. And they're just 2 bad teams right here. Tyler, who are you going with here?
I got Carolina. Drew Lock turns the ball over more than any other quarterback in the league. You just set him up for good field position. I think Mike Davis has himself a day with Christian McCaffrey being out this week.
Again, Christian McCaffrey's out. Angelo, who are you taking?
Oh man, I don't know. Both these teams are so bad. Like the Panthers looked good in the beginning of the year, and it's just gotten worse. I'm gonna take the Broncos.
Yeah, I've been flipping back and forth on this. I was looking at the schedule last night a little bit. I think I have settled my mind. I am going to take the Carolina Panthers in this one, only because Curtis Samuel's been playing out of his mind. DJ Moore's been playing very good. I like this. It's about time Curtis Samuel steps up a little bit and starts doing what he's supposed to do. I remember a few years ago I had him on a fantasy team. I tweeted at him. I was like, "You suck," because I thought I needed was like 1 point. And he didn't even catch. He dropped like 3 balls. 3 of his 4 targets he dropped, and 1 was a fumble. I was like, "You suck. You got me negative points. You take points away from me. You suck." I was all pissed. I was like, "You suck." All right. So on that note, I'm taking the Panthers.
DJ
who did
Moore
you pick again? I'm sorry.
I picked the Panthers. DJ Moore is out with COVID today, though.
Well, there you go. So let's hopefully Samuel has a big game. Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, it's Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson are about to blow up.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. I don't like that game, but I'm taking the Panthers. All right, we know the next noon game is the Bears Texans. We're not talking about that. We're waiting for that a second. We always save that game for last.
Yep.
We got the Cardinals and Giants in New York. I hate this fucking game. I really do. The Cardinals have shit in my bed like the last 3 weeks that I've picked them, and they've lost every time. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm riding with the Giants today. I'm riding with Danny Dimes, and I'm riding with.
Have you not learned anything? It's week 14. You're Matt Nagy. Mike, you are Matt Nagy right now.
I'm going with the Giants. Danny Dimes. The Giants are a good football team. They're playing good. Their defense is legit. And Danny Dimes, man. Danny Dimes. Danny Diamond it all over the field. I'm going with the Giants. Go ahead. Who's next?
Tyler.
I'll take the Cardinals.
Angelo.
All right. So the Giants did look pretty good last week. I'm not saying they looked great, but they looked pretty good. And the Cardinals have kind of like really become stagnant in their ways. I don't know, man. That's a tough one too.
I think Kyler Murray's hurt.
I'm gonna run with the Giants, just because I gotta make. Just because I gotta make. I'm trying to make up some ground against Tyler, so like I have to. That's why I picked the Broncos and the Giants the last two, because I'm hoping maybe it's something funky can happen.
You're just trying to hand it to me here now.
Mm-hmm. Another garbage ass game after that is the Cowboys at the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one because that Bengals team is god awful. They are on my shit list. The Bengals can't cover an 11.5-point spread from fucking 2 weeks ago or last week. So they're on my shit list, and I'm going against them, and I'm going with another team that I absolutely can't fucking stand, which is the Dallas Cowboys. I hate that team, but I think Dallas lights these guys up today. Tyler, are you taking?
I'm going to take the Cowboys, too. It's a Andy Dalton revenge game. I think he's going to want to go out there and light up his old team.
Angelo.
Same thing, Dallas. I feel like Tyler
watch the fucking Bengals.
Nailed right on the head.
All right. After that, we have my favorite game of the day, because this game has a lot of playoff implication today, is the Colts and Raiders. And we were already talking. I was already talking and bitching and moaning about the Raiders earlier, how I think they suck. But the Colts, man, I don't know what to make of this Colts team. They're back and forth on me. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad. I don't know if they're a playoff caliber team. You see them. I don't know, man. In this game, I'm going to take I'm going to take the Raiders in this game only because it's at home. It's in Las Vegas. I'm going to take the Raiders in this game. Angelo, who are you taking in this one?
Kind of similar to what I said about the Vikings. The Colts have kind of come back down to earth a little bit. The defense, they've been okay. But these Raiders, man, they just are so inconsistent. I'm going to take the Colts.
All right. And Tyler, who are you taking? It looks like you're in agreement with Angelo here. It looks like you're taking the Colts.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Colts as well.
All right. So I need the Raiders to hit this week, guys. That'll make up some ground for me. So go Raiders. All right, we got the Jets, Seahawks in Seattle. I think we know who's going to win this game. It's obvious the Jets are going to blow out the Seahawks this week after that disappointing loss to the Raiders last week. No, I think we're all in agreement here. We're all taking Seattle. We don't even have to talk about that game. Russ is going to cook all day.
I just think I think the spread, the 14.5 is big, but I think Seattle, like you said, I think they're going to trounce this Jets team 28-10 probably.
Yeah, I could see this being just a complete ass whipping, especially after the embarrassing loss the Seattle Seahawks came off of last week to the New York Giants.
Yep.
They're gonna be looking to kick some ass this week and make up some ground and still stay in the hunt, still try and catch that division team in the Rams. I think the Seattle Seahawks have a really good opportunity and chance to catch up with that team. So let's see what happens there. But I'm taking the Seahawks. At 3:25, we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Lions of Detroit. This game is I have a feeling this game is going to score 150 points in it. There's going to be 150 points scored in this game, and 125 of them are going to be Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams, hopefully, because that's one of my playoff things that I got going on right now. But no, I think the Packers are going to fucking roll Detroit in this game. I don't think it's a chance. Angelo, who are you taking in this one?
Real quick, Tyler, are there any special inactives for this game? Anybody that stands out from
Galladay is out again.
Kenny Galladay is out. DeAndre Swift is back. I think they're going to be limiting his snaps though, because he's missed like the past 4 weeks. But nobody on the Packers.
Then I'm gonna go Green Bay. I'm gonna go Green Bay.
Oh, what? You never picked the Packers.
I picked them last week. I told you I gotta try to
freely picking the Packers.
Try to actually win this.
So now you're just freely picking the Packers?
Well, I mean, I do think this game will be closer than what people think. Both these defenses are terrible. Matt Stafford can still throw the ball. You know, like
I think that last week against the Bears,
right?
Caliber defense, right?
I mean, I think that this game is going to be high scoring, like you said. 150 points. I don't know about that, but you know, I could definitely see it being like 37-30, something like that.
Right. Okay, Tyler, who you taking? I take it you're going with your Packers.
Yeah, I got the Packers. My DFS lineups for the day, though, I will be throwing out a lot of Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers stacks. Probably throwing Marvin Jones in there as well. I like this game a lot to stack this week.
All right, there you go. After that, we got the Falcons Chargers in a battle of teams who don't know how to win. So this is going to be fun. This game is just never going to end. Nobody wants to win this game. It's a bad game. I don't think either team wants to win this game. This game is seriously going to last until next spring. It's going to take fucking forever. There's going to be a lot of points, I think, because both defenses are bad. But I'm going to ride the trend, dude. I'm going to ride the trend and take the Falcons. The Chargers just find ways to lose games, more so than the Falcons have as of lately. So I'm taking the Falcons in this game. Angelo, who are you taking?
Man, I love this Chargers team. Like, they have so many weapons. On paper, this Chargers team should be one of the top teams right now. But you're right. They just can't find a way to win. But I can never trust. Julio's out for the Falcons.
No Julio Jones today.
I'm going to take the Chargers.
Okay. Tyler.
All right, Angela, like you were saying, that they're on paper, their team should be great, but they can't find a way to win. It's been like that for the past 5 years. I mean, their team has been awesome.
The Chargers?
Yeah.
Their team
like that
awesome.
for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
Don't forget they had LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates at one point.
That's true.
Yep.
Don't have shit for it.
Antonio Gates was still playing 2 years ago. But I'm going to take the Falcons. Since Dan Quinn's been fired, the defense has been allowing, I think it's 20.1 points a game. The defense has been playing a whole lot better. They've been playing bend, don't break. They haven't been giving up the big plays. I think they can pull one out today.
All right. Going on from that game, we got the Washington football team at San Francisco. I am riding the trend, and I'm taking the Washington football team. I do like this team, man. Like I said, Alex Smith, I was so excited when he got the job back. All right, I remember earlier in the year we were all sitting here talking football. You guys were here. You guys were witness to it. I was excited. I told you guys Alex Smith has the potential to turn this team around underneath Chico. And the Washington football team's defense is a legit defense. It's not I mean, you saw it. They went up against one of the best offenses, even though they're coming off of a short week. They went up against one of the best offenses in the league last week and laid them down, man. They laid them down. I'm riding that again. I'm taking the Washington football team over the San Francisco 49ers today. Tyler, who are you taking?
I also got Washington. You never know what 49ers team you're going to get out there. But with the football team, you know that they're going to be playing great defense. They're going to limit the scoring. They do have the best defensive line in the league. I think they're in the backfield all day, making Nick Mullins' day hell.
Angelo, who you taking?
Washington also, man. That like the defense has looked way better. Alex Smith is playing way better, I think, than anybody ever anticipated him playing when he came back.
You guys called me nuts.
I did. I never wanted to see him play because I was so afraid he would get hurt.
One thing. Go ahead, Angelo. I'm sorry.
But no, he's come out, and I think he's proven, without a doubt, he's the comeback player of the year, right? Yeah. Without a doubt.
The second he stepped on the field, he was the comeback player of the year.
And his play is just making it.
The moment he won the game,
yeah,
it was locked that he's comeback player of the year. And like I told you guys earlier in the year, I remember I was super giddy like a little girl that he was coming back. Alex Smith, man, I said not only is he the toughest fucking dude in the NFL, but the dude wins games.
Yeah.
All right, and it's one thing as of recently, what has the Washington football team been doing it? And they control the clock. They control the game. It's little dink and dive passes with Alex Smith, and then he'll break one off right in your ass for 18 yards. And it's like, what the fuck just happened here? That's the game that Alex Smith played in San Fran. That's the game that he played in KC, and that's the game that he continues to play out here in Washington. I like him, man. I think next year he's for sure their starter. I think they'll draft a quarterback, but I think they're going to be working around Alex Smith next year as the starter. We got to hurry up and move through these rest of these games here. We got the Saints and Eagles. I'm taking the Saints in this one. I don't like the Eagles, even though Jalen Hurts is back. And Jalen Hurts is back. Even though Jalen Hurts is starting over Carson Wentz in his first start of the year, I'm taking the Saints in this one. Taysom Hill, Sean Payton, just too much for teams right now. Taysom Hill looks like legit, man. He looks legit. I like him. Angelo, who you taking?
I got the Saints.
Tyler. All right, so we go through that. We got the best game of the week on, I think, is tonight's game at 7:20. The Steelers and the Bills in Buffalo. I'm excited for this game. It's going to be a tough game, man. Tyler, who are you taking?
I got the Steelers in this game. I think they bounce back. And
I think Buffalo's favored to win. They are.
Buffalo is 2.5 point favorite.
Yep. So you got Pitt, you said?
Yep.
Angelo, who you taking?
I told you, remember last week, I said, I'm going to go with the Steelers because every time I've gone against them, they've managed to win. Mm-hmm. And then I picked the Steelers last week and they lose. I'm going to pick the Steelers again this week. I feel very confident about that. I just think it's going to be a hard-nosed beat-down game.
I'm taking Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo. Josh Allen looks good. He should be in the running for MVP, I think. He's been playing lights out. He did have a couple rough weeks there, but the guy is so good, man. He's so good.
So
I like Josh Allen.
If Buffalo lets you down, you might actually hate every team from New York.
I might. It's a strong possibility. It's a very strong possibility.
Throwing it out there.
But I do like Buffalo though. But yeah, if they lose, I'll hate them. And then tomorrow night we got the Ravens at the Browns. I'm taking Cleveland, man. I took that last week while you guys took the Titans. I was all on the Cleveland Brown train. I'm taking Cleveland again this week to knock off the Ravens. Tyler, who are you taking?
I'm going to take the Ravens in this game. They're back healthy. They're fighting for their playoff lives. They're playing pissed off. They can pull a narrow victory out.
All right, Angelo, who are you taking here?
The Browns are just so inconsistent, man. They have games like they had last week. Then they have games where they put up 6 points.
How dare you?
I'm going to go with Baltimore.
How dare
I think
you?
Tyler's right. I think they have a lot more to play for today, and hopefully they can get back to some type of a better offense, I guess, because it's looked shaky for a while. So
hey, you got to put some respect on their name. The games that they only scored like 6 and 10 points were the games where there's like 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts and you got fucking rain coming down sideways.
Yeah, and then now we go to our last game here, but also joining us like he does each and every single week, our guy over at Sports Mockery, Erik Lambert. Erik, welcome to the show, my man. How we doing? Good morning.
Good morning, boys. How you doing?
swell.
Good. I'm doing good. I feel a little bit better. I went 10-5 last week. But 10-5 is still only good for last place, Erik. So
yeah.
These guys,
me and Tyler went 11-4, and Mike went 10-5. That's a pretty solid week if you're looking for some bets.
For sure.
We're hitting them. All right, so here we go, Erik. We're started off, man. The Houston Texans coming into town here. It's going to be a rough one. We got Deshaun Watson starting up here against our Chicago Bears. What's the take going around, man? What's going around here? How do you think Deshaun Watson's going to sling it across the Bears today?
Well, basically, the Bears' pass rush has been non-existent for the past couple of weeks. So if they can't get to Watson, it doesn't matter who he has at receiver. He's shown that he's going to produce, regardless. So, if they can't get to him, he's probably going to have a big day. So, the pass rush has to show up, because if they don't, I don't expect the Bears' offense to keep up with Houston for 60 minutes.
Earlier in the week on the Fat Mike Chicago Sports Show, Eric, Angelo and I had Carmen DeFalco sit down and join us, and we were talking about Deshaun Watson, and he said that, listen, this guy's playing at the top of his game with absolutely pretty much nobody around him at this point. Why can't the Bears, why can't Mitch and why can't Foles do this? Or is it just because Watson is just head and shoulders so much better than them? Or why are we having such shaky quarterback play out of our Chicago Bears?
I mean, that's pretty much the size of it. You can always tell the difference between a franchise quarterback and just another guy. Foles was really good in Philadelphia because he had an excellent supporting cast. He had good coaching, he had a great offensive line, and he had targets. And, he got hot at the right time. That was great for him. He can do that from time to time, but he's not one of those guys who can do it regularly. And Mitch, he can, feed fine on bad opponents, bad defenses, but a lot of guys can do that. What makes Watson so different is, what's up here, what's between the ears. I mean, he sees the game so well. He's such a ferocious competitor. He's athletic. He just, feels the game out like a franchise quarterback usually does. That's why, it doesn't matter the situation he's in. He's going to find a way to make a play, and that's what the great ones do. That's what separates him from the rest of the field. So, the Bears just haven't been able to find a guy like that, no matter, how hard they seem to try.
It's tough, man. Last week was almost comical at this point. We were sitting there watching the game, and Angelo and
I finally got my son, my 6-year-old, to sit down and really kind of watch a Bears game with me, right? He's usually off running around doing crazy stuff. The Bears were playing pretty well on offense for the most part. And then all of a sudden, the Bears showed up and they lose the game. And my son looks at me, he goes, "Dad, did they lose that game?" And I said, "Yeah, son, get used to it, because that's your life for the rest of it with this Bears team." Why can't this team just seem to win when the game is basically given to them? Is it that bad of coaching that they're just so, they try to be so cute, especially Matt Nagy, like certain things he should have ran the ball on that third down. And, why is he so stubborn?
It's a great question, and I think it goes down to the types of coaches they continue to hire. They like to hire great motivators, which Nagy is. He's proven to be that. But, one of the problems I've noticed with a lot of their coaches is they don't really have a great tactical sense in terms of in-game coaching, in terms of understanding and being one step ahead of the opponent. Too many times it appears the opponent is always one step ahead of them. They always seem to get out-coached in certain situations. You saw that with Sean McVay in Los Angeles a few weeks back. Those are the types of guys I would always prefer to try and target if you can find them. But the Bears always seem to go for a particular type. And, that it's always going to show up in big games. And, last week you saw it, calling back-to-back pass plays deep in your own territory when you should be running the football to try and run down some clock, stuff like that. It's always those little things that the coaches make mistakes on that end up losing you the game, like it did for the Bears.
Yeah. Last week we seen some heartbreak. I don't know if you did watch any of the Houston game, but we see Deshaun Watson get the ball late in the fourth quarter in his own zone, within his own 10, and march down the field methodically just to have a late snap on his own, or a low snap on his own, 11-yard line, and they lose the game 26-20. It was a rough break, tough break for Houston. They're going to be coming out hungry against the Chicago Bears team looking for a W, right, Eric? Or am I just sitting here, am I imagining things that the Bears can try and quiet Deshaun Watson?
Well, you can bet Watson's going to be motivated. He's motivated in and of itself, but now that he's going up against a team that blatantly passed on him for another quarterback, I mean, that's easy motivation for a guy like Watson. He's got that Michael Jordan mentality. He can create motivation out of thin air if he has to. So he doesn't have to work hard to find motivation to play the Bears. So it's a question of, can he elevate everybody else around him, which he's routinely shown he can do, whereas the Bears, they're in a free fall. I mean, they're struggling to find enough fire to get through each game. They've lost 6 in a row. They haven't looked good doing so. So it's really going to be difficult for them to find motivation knowing their season is on the line, whereas the Texans really don't have anything to lose, so they can play as free as they want. So it's one of those situations where, if they let Watson get going, they're in trouble.
Yeah. I've seen on Eric, you posted something on Sports Mockery about, is Matt Nagy safe? We had talked a couple weeks in a row now about most likely being the turnover of the GM position and the head coaching position. Do you want to go a little bit in depth on that article that you wrote about, why Matt Nagy may possibly be safe?
Sure. A lot of it depends on how the season finishes. If they can, sort of stop the bleeding and maybe get some wins down the stretch, that would help him a little bit. But most of the argument for him staying centers around his contract. He has 2 years left on his current deal, whereas Ryan Pace only has 1. So firing Pace makes a lot more sense because he'd be going into a lame duck season next year. So you obviously don't want a guy who's on the last year of his contract possibly picking your next quarterback. That doesn't make any sense. So with Nagy, it would basically be, we don't want to pay this guy for the next 24 months to just, go somewhere else and coach and then have to pay another guy on top of it. Maybe we'll just, keep him for another year, bring in another GM, have that GM evaluate him. And if the GM decides that this isn't our guy, I'm going to go get my own, fine. Otherwise, maybe it'll end up working out, even though it hasn't the past few times they've tried that.
Yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of different things, Eric. I don't know. I honestly, I have no idea because I haven't done the research on it, to be honest, just to be full 100% honest with you. Where is the Bears cap situation going into next season? Are we in trouble, or do they have a little bit of room here to do some stuff? What's going on here? I've heard that we have room. I heard that we have no room. So what is the actual situation?
It's actually kind of confusing because nobody still knows what's going to happen with the overall NFL cap. Some are believing it's going to drop to the bottom that was established with a new collective bargaining agreement, which is $175 million. If it ends up being that, the Bears would, with their rollover cap, would be around between $2 and $3 million, which is right up against the cap. So they would have to do some serious maneuvering in order to create some breathing space, whether that's maybe extending guys, restructuring contracts, or maybe having to sacrifice somebody. Akeem Hicks would, garner $10.5 million in space. Kyle Fuller would garner $11 million. So those are questions you're going to have to ask. Now, there was a recent report from Mike Florio that said, the league might not make it be that bad because they feel they might start having full stadiums again next year with the outcoming of the vaccine and whatnot. So they'll be able to get back to more normal. So rather than just drop the cap to the bottom, they might just sort of keep it steady at around $195 million, which would be huge for the Bears because that would, give them a lot more breathing space and not have to make as many sacrifices. Mm-hmm. So that's what you're hoping for, that it won't drop as far as initially, planned. But if it does end up being that way, then the next regime might have some tough decisions to make.
Now, Eric, who would be a couple players that you could see being a casualty if the cap does fall that low?
That was my next question, Dick. Sorry, that was a wicked sneeze. I apologize.
Well, I mentioned Hicks and Fuller. Those are obvious ones. But I think, obvious cuts are going to end up being Jimmy Graham. That'll be $7 million. Charles Leno and Bobby Massey will both be, topics of discussion. One will be like $6.2 million, the other $5.4. Buster Screen will be another one. That'll be $2.8 million. Also, they can get more if they end up doing the post-June 1st designation, which allows them to spread the cap hit between 2 seasons instead of 1. So that might actually get them more cap space. That's what they did with Trey Burton this past year. So it's one of those situations I imagine they'll discuss. So those are some names to keep an eye on.
We've been talking about a few. I saw a few. We've seen a few reports about possibly Harbaugh and possibly some other guys coming in here to Chicago. Is that the case? Are we really looking at Jim Harbaugh to be the next Bears head coach?
It's a debate back and forth between some people think it is a possibility. Some people think it's being blown out of proportion in terms of the NFL interest in him. If you're asking for my 2 cents, I don't think it's going to happen for a variety of reasons. I think he would prefer to stay at Michigan. He wants a contract extension, but right now they're not offering the money he really is looking for. So that's kind of a back and forth that they're going through. Okay. But in terms of NFL interest, people keep talking about, what happened with the 49ers. He had such a good run there and all that stuff. But the bottom line is his star isn't shining nearly as bright now as it was back then. He's taken some hits to his, his ego and his, credibility at this point. So the question becomes, do the Bears really want this type of guy? Yes, he has connections to the team. He was a former quarterback. We all know that. But his type of coaching style and his personality, it doesn't feel like it would mesh with this ownership. I mean, they were so anxious to get away from Mike Ditka back in the day, and Harbaugh's a lot like Ditka in a lot of ways. He's very bombastic. He can be very headstrong, and guys like that tend not to last for very long in certain coaching stops. Players in San Francisco even admitted that they were getting tired of him up to a certain point, and that sort of thing just doesn't go away. That reputation tends to stick with you. So that's why I don't think Harbaugh ultimately will be a serious consideration for the Bears.
Do you think if the season keeps going how it is for the Bears, do you think there's if it's going to be a full rebuild, or is it going to be sort of a retooling on offense to try and fill the holes on the fly, or do you think they're actually going to tear it all down?
I don't think they're going to tear it all down, because that's just going to lead to, an extended rebuild. What happened with Pace had to happen because they had the oldest roster in the NFL. They didn't have anything really to build around too, so he had to tear it all down. Whereas the Bears now, they have pieces in place that they can build around. Young guys, Jalen Johnson, Eddie Goldman, Eddie Jackson, Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney. They got guys that are worth building with. It's just a question of A, can they find a quarterback, and B, can they find the coaching staff to get more out of the talent they have, because they do have some talent. It's just a question of getting all those pieces in place to make it all work.
Not only that, but how fast the talent does develop as well, Eric. I mean, that's one thing for sure. I wrote an article last week on the WordPress here talking about Darnell Mooney, about how much I love this kid and how this kid reminds me so much of Tyreek Hill. I know that's a huge comparison, but the speed, the get up off the line, the IQ for the game, how to get open, the route running, all the above, just reminds me of the intelligence factor that Tyreek Hill has for the game as well. Eric, so as we were sitting here talking last week, we hung up with you. We sat around. We had our beers. We ate our food. We were watching a shit show of a Bears game, Lions game, and sure shit, Angelo and I are sitting there scrolling through Twitter, texting back and forth with one another, and you have a Nostradamus prediction. It kind of smells like a Mitchell Trubisky interception here now, doesn't it? All right, so I want to know your wizardry and see your prediction for this week's game. Okay, we do know that we have, unfortunately, to go back on that, he did not throw an interception. He got strip sacked and fumbled the ball. So you were close. You were very, very close, Eric. You're not down.
Wish I wasn't.
Yeah. Tyler is. We got this thing going on right now. It's called what is it called? The lackluster lock.
Yeah. You started calling it Tyler's.
He's 0-4, Eric. He's 0-4 on these locks. He's dog shit. So on his lock, just fade him and bet the opposite, and you'll win some money this week. Okay, that's our tip to you. Okay, but so you called it. You called it last week. We saw a turnover come, and the Bears lose the game in epic fashion, 34-30. What is your prediction this week for the Bears-Texans game?
I think it'll be close for like the first half, maybe the first three quarters, but in the second half, I think Watson's going to sort of outpace them, and I think the Texans are going to end up winning about 28-21.
All right, we got one Texans. Now, Angelo, we know that you always go last. Tyler, who are you taking in this one?
I'll take the Texans.
All right. I am also taking the Texans. I don't think it's going to be a close game like that, though, Eric. I think Texans, I think Deshaun Watson comes out here and fucking rolls them. I think we're going to see something along the lines of what we saw a few weeks back when Green Bay came in, when the Bears went up to Green Bay and they just got rolled. That's what I envision this week. I'm going to say the end of the game score will be 35-13 Texans.
Oh, my God. If it's 35-13, I won't watch halfway through the game.
Angelo, so what is your pick this week?
All right, man. It's week 14. I have told you all year that I will never pick against the Bears.
Until this week.
Just because at this point, it's best for the organization to lose out. So I have the Texans winning. I think it's going to be 30-23, around that range. I hope Deshaun Watson comes out and puts the last nail in the Ryan Pace coffin, shows this organization, hey, this dude screwed up so badly. This is what you could have.
All right, so all four of us are going for the Texans, I guess, huh? There we go. I got one last question for you, Eric. Actually, two more. How many more games do the Bears win any games the remainder of the year, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then the last question for you, Eric, where can our guys find you? Where can we read your articles? What can we do? How do we follow you?
You follow me at Erik Lambert 1 on Twitter. I'm on there all the time, and you can find all my stuff there.
All right, Eric, thank you again this week for joining us. We will talk next week as we prep up for the Vikings, my friend.
Looking forward to it, guys.
Thanks,
Talk
Eric.
to you then. Later, man.
See you later.
All right, Erik Lambert joining us again, man. It's so nice of him to come on the show and just shoot the shit with us and ask and answer the questions that us three idiots as fans have for him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's not the same shit, but it is the same shit that we go through each and every single week. We're always talking with them about, what's going on with Pace Nagy and what's the envisionment of, what can the Bears do to better this? What can the Bears do to do this? The cap question. Dude, if they lower that thing to $175 million, the Bears are in a fucking shit show next year. Like, that's going to be.
If they lower it that badly, you definitely can expect to see a completely different team next year.
I think you would have to lose Akeem Hicks.
Hicks.
I think Akeem Hicks would be the number one guy that you would see leave, honestly, because he is getting a little old. Not old, but he's getting older.
He's been injury prone the last couple of years.
He's been banged up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I found it funny the other day. I don't know who said it. I was listening to the ESPN 1000, and they said if he could lose 10 pounds, he'd be back to the same player as he was 3 years ago. Just 10 pounds. If he can just cut off 10 pounds, he'd get back to the same player he was. And I was like, man, he's just getting old. That's what happens when you get a little old.
The shitty thing about this team is everybody in the NFL knows that this Bears team is going to look to unload money or try to retool. So if the Bears were to go to a team and be like, hey, Kyle Fuller, man, we're looking to move on from him. Fuller, you'd say is what, top 10 cornerback in the league right now? Probably. I'd say that about top. I was going to say top 5, but I don't think he's top 5. I'd say top 10. Are they really going to get the return on the investment that they're hoping to? I don't think so. And especially because, one, cap space is going to be lower. And two, I think people are going to know that the Bears are desperate, and I think that's a terrible place to be where you don't have money and you're desperate to move on from people to try to gain assets. That's why I also think Pace cannot do this draft next year, because we've seen what happened when he was desperate for a quarterback, right? He gave up draft capital to move up one space because he knew Mitch was the guy. And because he knew Mitch was the guy, they went and did the trade for Khalil Mack, more draft equity. Because they knew he was the guy, they went and signed, a Trey Burton and all this stuff. And it just never worked. So it's going to be a rough offseason.
This is a question we should have asked Eric. So if the cap does drop down to 175, do you think the Bears franchise tag Allen Robinson next year?
No, I don't think he'll be back next year.
I think they'll franchise tag him and trade him. That's the plan. I think that's what they'll do is they'll trade him off to a competitor team at a franchise rate, right?
I can see that.
That's how I would envision how they handle the Allen Robinson situation. But that's just me. I mean, that would have been we got to save that for next week. So make sure you star that. Write that down somewhere. We'll ask him about that.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm going to let you knock to it, get to the fantasy stuff. Like every single week, I kind of leave you two to get to the bets and talk to fantasy. Start with the fantasy first. I just retweeted to get some guys in here to ask some questions to Tyler DeMouse here. I got to go step out and see what's going on with my dogs, make sure my dog's head is still on his body. So because he's been scratching at his head, he's been bleeding all over the place. So I will let you guys to it, and I will see you guys here in a minute.
All right. So as usual, every Sunday morning, I got a couple plug-and-play guys. Say you had a guy, he's out this week to COVID, or you got a last-second scratch or anything, or maybe you're just in a shitty situation altogether. So I got 2 QBs this week, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. All right, QB1, I got Phillip Rivers going up against the Las Vegas defense. Their defense isn't very good. I think Phillip Rivers has himself a possible low-end QB1, high-end QB2 week this week. Another guy I got is Mitch Trubisky. It's just not a good streaming landscape this week, but I think Mitch Trubisky has the rushing floor. If he gets out of the pocket, he can get you some rushing yards. I mean, if you're streaming a quarterback this late in the year, These are the options you got: Phillip Rivers and Mitch Trubisky. Running back here, like I said earlier with Miami, they're missing their top 3 running backs, so they're going to be. My belief is DeAndre Washington's going to get a majority of the work. How much work he gets depends on how close they keep the game, but I think DeAndre Washington is worthy of a flex play this week. My last running back, I got Phillip Lindsay. Phillip Lindsay going up against Carolina. It's about a 55-45 split with Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay, but going up against the soft Carolina run defense, I think he's flex worthy this week. Just like Washington, I'd probably play Lindsay over Washington if they're both available for you. I just picked up DeAndre Washington this morning before the show started to play in the playoffs in one of my leagues. Wide receiver, I got 3 guys here. Not Allen Robinson. Allen Lazard for the Packers going up against Detroit's defense. I just think the Packers are determined to try and get Rodgers the MVP this year, so I think he's going to be chucking it around all over that Detroit defense. I'm looking for a big day from him, but reports came out this week from LaFleur saying he's still going to be on a snap count. So, I mean, his snaps have been rising every week. I think he's worthy of a flex play. All these guys I'm naming here are worthy of a flex play. Wide receiver, Tim Patrick for the Broncos. And then Kiki QT for the Texans going up against the Bears defense. Kiki QT had himself a game last week. And like we've been talking about, I think Deshaun Watson's going to light this defense up, and he needs somebody to throw the ball to outside of Brandon Cooks. So I think Kiki QT can step up again this week. Tight end here, we got Dalton Schultz for the Cowboys going up against the Bengals defense. Bengals defense is pretty bad against tight ends. So I think if they get down in the red zone, Dalton Schultz has a chance to put one in the end zone. And then my last tight end here, Angelo, you're going to like this one. Cole Kmet. Over the last couple of weeks, tides have been turning. He's been playing more. Jimmy Grandpa has been sitting on the bench. So I think there's a possibility Cole Kmet can punch another one in the end zone. Yep. Didn't he have a touchdown last week?
Yep. And I didn't bet it, of course. The one week I don't do a Cole Kmet anytime and he scores a touchdown. Son of a bitch.
But so that's all I got for my fantasy plays. I didn't see any questions come through here, so yeah, that's all I got.
All right, let's get into the bets here. I do want to start this new little segment here that Angelo had a good idea with. Angelo, go ahead and give us your idea, and Tyler and I will bring it to a vote and see what's going on here.
All right, so what do I like to play when I make bets, boys? I like the parlays, right?
Yep.
So I pitched this idea to Mike. You know, I like the chance to win a lot of money without spending a lot of money, right? That's everybody's dream in life. So I was thinking about this pre-play parlay of the week, you know, where you throw up a couple things and pray to God that it works. Yeah, might be crazy, but I have an 8-team parlay for $5 could win you $560, right? Pretty solid. I got the Chiefs -7. I got the Cowboys on the money line. I got New Orleans and Philly over 42.5. I got the Colts and the Raiders over 52.5. I have the Houston Texans and the Bears game over 45.5. I got the Titans on the money line. You guys are pretty confident that the Packers and Lions are going to just throw all over each other. So I got the over 55.5. And then I have Washington football team on the money line. I don't think it's outrageous.
Bad. One thing I would change with that, at the over, take an alt line. Take an alt line for the Packers game.
Okay.
Because you're taking the line right now that's been bet up a couple points by the public. So I'd drop it down like 2 or 3 points. Try to take 52.5, 53.5.
Real quick, we got a couple fantasy football questions hopping in here really quick. We got Grant Sims coming in here. Here it is right there. Tyler, on the screen, moron. On the screen.
Okay.
There you go. Should I forget about KJ Hamler for the rest of the season? I know my opinion on this. Tyler, go right ahead.
I mean, I don't think he's been playable 1 week this year. So, yeah, I'd just forget about him.
I would completely forget about any Denver Bronco at this point with no quarterback, poor quarterback play. I do like Jerry Jeudy. He's the only running back, wide receiver that I do like out of there right now. But yeah, I would just forget about KJ Hamler the remainder of the season. We got our guy Darren Hopkins coming on here. Says pick 2: Goodwin, Kamara, Allen Robinson, Robbie Anderson, or Jonathan Taylor. Full point PPR. I know where I'm going with this. All right, this is just me. I mean, I like to think I'm somewhat of a fantasy expert. I'm in playoffs in all 5 of my leagues here. I would definitely play Kamara, and I would definitely play Allen Robinson. I do like Jonathan Taylor this week, but with the full point PPR and as much as Kamara gets used out of the backfield, I think Sean Payton started to use him a little bit more last week. Allen Robinson, the guy gets his targets every single week, especially with Mitch under center there. So those are my 2. Tyler, who are your 2?
This is a tough one, man.
It's tough.
You got the cream of the crop here.
I love Godwin. I do like Godwin a lot. All right, but there's just so many weapons on the Bucs, and he's been driving me nuts over the past couple of weeks. I would go with the 2 for sure studs and Allen Robinson and Kamara. Consistency wins, man. Consistency pays.
Yeah, I don't think you can bench Kamara, even though his usage has been down the last couple of weeks with Taysom Hill at quarterback. You don't have old man Drew Brees that can't move around, so when he gets pressured, he's dumping the ball off to Kamara. I mean, I think I still start Kamara, and I'd probably go Godwin over Allen Robinson.
See, that's where I differ from you. Allen Robinson for sure gets 8-9 targets a game. That's why I'm going Allen Robinson.
But yeah, all 5 of those guys that were there, man, those are all startable guys this week. I don't think you can go wrong anywhere.
For us, he says Cole Kmet or Noah Fant. This is a tough one too.
I would take Cole. That's just me.
I think I still go Fant.
Yeah, I would go Fant here just because of the fact that Cole Kmet doesn't get as much use as Noah Fant does in the actual offense. I would go Noah Fant. But yeah, there we go. There's a couple of our a couple of that. If you guys still have them, if you guys still got questions, send them on in. You retweet our tweet. If you guys are still on there, we're going to be on here for another 15, 20 minutes or so.
You can also hit up Tyler on Twitter too.
Right. Also hit up Tyler on Twitter at Dumb Mouse Fantasy. I could pull that up here for you.
Just my name right here that you see next to my ugly face. Just put an @ sign right in front of it.
There you go. We got that going. So, I mean, okay. So back to Angelo's fucking crazy bet of the week. It doesn't sound all that bad, Angelo. It's okay. It's all right.
I mean, for $5, like that's the reason I like parlays, right? Because I'm just looking to have some fun. I'm not looking to make this a career in sports betting. One, because I don't have that kind of a bankroll. $5 here and there for people who are just looking to have some fun, enjoy the games while still having a little skin in the game, I don't think it's outrageous. For a chance to win $560, I'd throw it out there.
Yeah, it's not bad, man. It's not bad at all. It's
and I actually like did some, real good decision making. I looked at the games, looked at, the average points and all that kind of stuff. And I feel pretty, I don't want to say confident because it's very unlikely that it hits, but I feel like there's, better possibility than my other parlays I've partaken in recently.
Well, I have a nice parlay for you guys here too. It's a 16 parlay plus 725. I do like this. I mean, if you just want to just make something small little wager, I think this is a no-brainer, can't miss. All money line games, I'm taking the Cowboys over Cincinnati, the Chiefs over Miami, the Titans over the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Seattle Seahawks over the Jets, the Packers over the Lions, and the Washington football team over the San Francisco 49ers. On a $10 payout, it pays out $72, guys. So that's a quick one that you guys could hit really quick. You guys got to have a little faith in that football team. It's like I said, it's at plus 725. So $10, which is almost $80 there. So it's a nice little haul back return. Tyler, what else you got for us, man? We got to keep your lackluster lock of the week going. You're 0-4 on the year this year. Let's keep it going. What's the one? We'll do that last. So what do you got for us that can actually win this week?
So I'll be tweeting these out because I got a decent number of plays this week. Last week we got back on track, so I'm going to keep riding it. And DraftKings this week is offering a 20% profit boost on every single game this week. So I went through most of the games I had to play for. Not every game, but I went and picked out the plays I like the most. So first play, David Montgomery, anytime touchdown. I think he has a chance to get a touchdown this week against the soft-ass Texans defense. Zeke, anytime touchdown against the Bengals soft-ass defense. This is one you got to rip me for this one. Antonio Brown, anytime touchdown. So it's going to happen at some point this year. I think this week is the matchup for him going up against the Vikings' awful pass defense. I think Brady's going to come out. He's going to want to make a statement. He's going to be slinging it down their throats. Here's another one. Kelsey over 6.5 receptions. So his last 4 games, Kelsey has had 8 receptions in each game. So the trend is your friend until it ends. But yeah, I think he has a chance this week I don't think he has a chance. I think that's probably my lock of the week. Travis Kelsey over 6.5 receptions. Lock it in.
Oh,
So now we know he'll have 2 touchdowns for 2 receptions, and that'll be all he'll do. So bet that apple.
Fade that bet, guys. Fade the lock of the week. Kelsey is going without a touchdown this week against a very good Miami Dolphins defense.
No touchdown. No touchdown. Over 6.5 receptions.
Oh, over 6.5 receptions. He'll have 3 receptions for 3 touchdowns for only 5 yards.
So,
all
Mike,
right,
where's that big balls bet of the week?
My big balls bet of the week again this week. I'm riding, man. I'm riding the Washington football team again this week. I think that they go into San Fran, and I think they beat up San Fran this week. I do like this game. That's my big balls bet of the week. At 3:25 scheduled start, they're going into San Fran, and I'm still riding with it, man. I'm definitely riding with Washington Football Club football team, guys.
Dude, Chico is such a good coach, man.
So I know I said that I would give my lock of the week last, but I actually do have more bets. Just as I was reading them off, I decided that's my lock right there. Here, so I got.
Are you trying to bounce back, or are you keeping this thing going and just keep on trying to shit the bed each week?
No, Kelsey. Well, yeah, I think that's a solid bet for the lock this week. But I got 5 more here, plus the teaser that I really like. I got Carolina minus 2.5 over the Broncos. Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown against the soft Vegas defense. Washington money line like Mike. Pittsburgh Steelers money line. Baltimore minus 2.5.
All right, there you go. Give those one more time, Ted. Give those one more time.
Okay. David Montgomery, anytime touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, anytime touchdown. Antonio Brown, anytime touchdown. Travis Kelsey, over 6.5 receptions. My lock of the week. Lackluster lock of the week. Carolina, minus 2.5. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown. Washington football team, money line. Pittsburgh Steelers money line, and Baltimore minus 2.5.
All right, there you go. There you go. It sounds good, man. It sounds good. And you know what else sounds good? Well, I know it smells good, man. Megan has already started cooking those magic meatballs that she makes. Oh my God, those spicy magic meatballs. You guys got to have those sometime, man. Grape jelly, sriracha sauce on barbecue sauce. It's so good. They're so good. They're so damn good. They're dangerous, though. They make you fart fire for like 4 days after you eat them. It's fucking terrible. But yeah. All right. Angelo, what are you doing over there, bud? You watching porn?
No, I'm looking at some more bets.
Hey, you want to throw my bets up on the screen?
For sure. And real quick, guys, these are Tyler's bets here. David Montgomery, anytime touchdown Zeke, anytime touchdown Antonio Brown, anytime touchdown Travis Kelsey.
No. Kelsey over 6.5. I don't know why the formatting is so terrible.
I don't know what you did. You did something.
Hold on.
Anytime touchdown Zeke, anytime touchdown AB. Let's see if this is it. That's porn to someone. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Grant. That is porn to someone. So you're exactly right, my friend. But yeah, no, I'm excited, man. We're gonna get this baby rolling here, and I'm having fun, man. I'm gonna get my games rolling here. Gotta hopefully this week my it's back up and running. If not, I'm gonna be pissed. Last week it seemed to work fine and cut out on me again last minute. It's all because of the new the new cable box I got. So there's some boobies.
I like those eyes.
You like
those eyes are on those bets, baby.
Those boobies.
Oh,
right here. There you go. Let's try it this time. Here it is. David Montgomery, anytime touchdown. Zeke, anytime touchdown. Antonio Brown, anytime touchdown. Travis Kelce, over 6.5 receptions. He's going to get 6, and you're going to be locked out again. I'm going to laugh my balls off. It's going to be so funny. What is that? Receiving.
Carolina -2.5.
Fat. Grant Sims. Fat. That's what he's doing to that. That is so good. All right, so there you go, guys. Here's the bet. We're going to leave it up here as we end the show for you guys. So you guys, hey, man, let's enjoy Sunday today. I'm excited. I'm just now starting to feel better. My morning food is finally starting to fit in, man. I was feeling kind of crummy there for a minute. But, yeah. All right. Well, I'm good. You good?
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Best of luck to everybody in the fantasy playoffs this week. Hopefully you keep it rolling, make it to the semis next week.
All right.
You should not be playing in any fantasy league that has a championship in week 17.
Yep, that's bullshit. I agree.
If
So
your league has it, leave it.
I'm out of here, guys. I'm gonna go watch some football. I gotta take a dump too. I had too much coffee this morning. I got the bubble guts, man. I'm farting like a fat baby over here. It's fucking terrible.
He said a fat baby.
I don't know what's going on with me. I don't know what the fuck's what up. Angela's getting robbed. They're coming to get him.
Angela gotta go. It's the SWAT team. I'm out.
He's like, I gotta go, guys. I'm not even in my own house. All right, guys, let's get the fuck out of here. You guys have a great week. We will tune back in with you guys next week, week 15, NFL action, talking football. Until then, take care. Enjoy your Sunday. Peace, guys.
Adios. Go back, go.